Dan.
Rick, good morning.
Not a sunny day.
Got a little rain today.
Oh, a lot of rain.
Kind of
What's
fun.
going on? You're in charge of that.
Well, I bring it on. We need snow up north. We need a bigger base. We have like a 45-inch base in Flagstaff.
Oh, Flagstaff. Okay.
Up there at Snowball.
I was wondering why you had precipitation. So there's a good story to everything.
Yes.
Well, this is Sugar Crush. I'm Dr. Rick Jacoby, and this is the rest of the story. We have a guest today. I was talking to Darrell Stern yesterday.
Yes.
And I was like blown away by your history.
Mm-hmm.
Jersey boy, huh?
Yeah. Born and raised in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Grew up in Edison, New Jersey, Middlesex County. Exit 11A off the New Jersey Turnpike.
Everybody from New Jersey tells you where the
Turnpike.
Turnpike.
The New Jersey Turnpike.
Well,
so do you want to know something? Out here, you would call it the freeway.
Correct.
Do you know why it's called the freeway here and the highway there? Because the older states built their own highways before Eisenhower came along and expanded to the west. So out west, there's no tolls because that's built by the federal government. But back east, you get all the turnpike and the parkway, which have tolls because they're state built.
That's right. In the colonial days, they were turned pike because they had pikes in the middle of the road. You had to pay the toll.
Correct. Right? And we also have jug handles in New Jersey, which is a way to go left off the highway. We go up and around and across rather than the silly cattle things you have here, these roundabouts, which make me feel like cattle.
Head. Wasn't it jug head?
No, it's a jug handle.
Oh, jug handle.
If you look at a jug and the little handle, that's exactly how it works. But there you go. Well, that's how travel works in New Jersey.
And we're doing a little live stream along with it.
Just a little video. Yeah. Here we are.
Hello.
So,
hello, everybody.
We have Mr. Media, but your history goes way back. Let's start with when you were 11 years old. Maybe younger?
Sure. Well, before that, I went to Vern Fowler's School of Dance, which is still there. It's a little studio above an auto mechanic shop in Island, Colonia, New Jersey. Learned my little tap dance steps and our little musical comedy numbers. And all of that kind of in the early 70s kind of built on the Mickey Mouse Club, kind of thing. Hi, we're the Vern Fowler kids and welcome to the show and all that exaggerated kind of musical comedy stuff. And to understand the people that were running it were in the 70s, then they were age 70 in the early 70s. Well, they did vaudeville, 50 years before that. So it's all that kind of exaggerated kind of musical theater kind of stuff. So we're about 20 minutes out of New York City. So some of the little kids, their parents, right, got their kid an agent or a manager in New York City where they would go audition. So the very first play that I was in was the Broadway musical Pippin, which was put on at Kane College. My dad was my first agent. So he told them, my son is going to play the part of Theo in this show, right? Because he just cast me in the show. So I was in that little musical. And then by age 9, he knew somebody that was drawing the playbills for a show in New York City off Broadway. If you don't know what Broadway, off-Broadway, and off-Broadway means, it's the number of seats, right? So like Broadway is like 1,500 or whatever, the main Broadway, and then there's a couple hundred, and then there's the little studios that maybe have 99 seats in the audience in some little hallway, like little theater in New York City. So I was in a off-Broadway play called The Desperate Hours, which was written in the 50s it was really bizarre, about a household where there's a kidnapper, like kind of person that comes in and holds the family hostage. Very bizarre. To be in that. And then from there, I got into finally auditioning for television and TV commercials. And one of the first TV commercials was for the Ms. Pac-Man Atari 2600 cartridge, which was a big, huge deal. People don't realize.
No, we have some younger people here. Do you remember Atari?
You mean older?
I do.
You do?
I had to ride my bike to my buddy Rick's house because my parents said no.
Yeah. No.
Absolutely no.
No to Atari?
No Atari.
Oh.
So he had, he had the garage that was sort of under the house and then the steps up to the house,
sure.
that kind of, right, in the split level kind of thing. He said, go in, the garage was always open. There was Pepsi and Coke stacked from floor to ceiling.
Yes.
Loved it. Got the Pepsi, got the Atari. I just walk in, and it was basement, kind of living room, kind of, family room.
Everybody had a den back in the 70s. Yeah, the den.
So you were a sugarholic back then?
I was sugar. to be honest, I really was.
Yeah. Okay.
Really
So this show is Sugar Crush, and you're probably wondering, why is Darrell here?
Yeah.
Why is Darrell here? Because he's my media guy, Stormin.
Norman.
I like to say
you like to say Stormin Norman.
But your company is called
Stern Storming.
Right? You're Stormin Norman.
So the Atari commercial. So people don't realize Atari was a multi-billion-dollar huge company that distributed those discs, those cartridges.
Right.
And that was really the first computer company that really took off in pop culture, where everybody bought this machine that they would put in. Now, around the same time, 83, I got the role of Scooter Computer.
Oh, this is the one.
This is the one.
Yeah. I don't think you've heard this.
Yeah.
Scooter
Computer on Schoolhouse Rock.
Schoolhouse Rock. I love that. Where do you hear this Schoolhouse Rock stuff?
So it was the only set of cartoons of Schoolhouse Rock that had a reoccurring character. So we went on for 4 episodes. So we did some in 83, some in 84, and I think one more after that. And the first song is this little boy. He rides a skateboard, Scooter Computer, and he comes home to his friend, Mr. Chips.
Mr. Chips.
That is a computer. So it went, when school lets out, I race right home. I'm faster than the bus. I just can't wait to see my friend who's come to live with us. He's quite unique, this friend of mine, like none you've ever seen. He's full of fancy circuitry. Instead of fingers, he has keys. And where a normal face should be, he's got a special screen. And that was it. And then it went on to be...
Are you kidding me?
Well, so the funny thing about that song in 83 is all the things that it talked about that then computers ended up doing. Like, there's just no end to what we do with Mr. Chips around. He prints the checks that pay the bills. He stores up dates and names. He files facts, makes shopping lists. He tells us birthdays not to miss. And then on top of all of this, he's great at playing games, which ended up being a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yeah.
Right? The games.
And the rest of the story is what happened to Atari?
Yes.
Well, Atari, there's an urban legend about Atari making the video cartridge for the E.T. movie, and they overproduced it.
You said this, yes.
Yeah, and then there's an urban legend that somewhere buried in Arizona or somewhere is tens of millions of these cartridges that they couldn't sell, and they really just they faded out. They couldn't, They ran out of ideas and all that kind of stuff. And then there was this other thing
called... They did not reinvent themselves.
Well, there was this other thing called Super Mario Brothers and Nintendo and Sega and all that.
So that was the Asian invasion.
Yeah, Japanese. Yeah, Nintendo is freaking huge. They just did this Super Mario Brothers movie like last year, a computer animated movie.
Yeah.
Went through the roof.
This is all history. He was right in the middle of it.
I know.
Now, I'm working with Darrell. He's... getting my face out into the media for my new book, Unglued.
Yeah.
And your academy.
And my academy.
drjacoby.academy.
Yeah.
And the Urban Carnivore.
Urban Carnivore.
Yes. So the long and the short of it is I decided to adult in 1997 after getting a master's in communication. This thing called HTML came out where you get these floppy disks.
What year?
1997.
It seems like yesterday to me.
Well, social media is only 15 years old, and the internet, the web, is only 25 years old.
It's shocking.
Like it just graduated college. So the funny thing is when I see experts to say, I've got it all figured out, the algorithms and all that, and I say, it's a teenager. How could you have it all figured out? We're just starting all this stuff, especially for business.
Yeah.
And you've taught me how to optimize my YouTube videos, which I put up a lot, and you're like, they're getting no views because there's no SEO because you're not optimizing. I'm like, geez, really?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Oh, my gosh. So thank you for that. By the way.
What I saw in the 15 years since 1997 when video came out, when YouTube first came out, I didn't understand. YouTube, I'm going to, what? Instagram, I'm going to share pictures, right? And then Facebook bought it for $1 billion. Instagram, I'm like, why? Why would you want to post a picture and people look at it? I don't understand. Like all of it went over my head. I was like 40 years old.
Tell me how this podcast, this is the epiphany. Podcast, iPod.
Okay, yeah. So let's go back to the year 2000.
Listen
right?
to this. It's amazing.
And Jobs comes back to the Apple. right, to reinvent it again after the guy that rose
2004,
from Pepsi.
absolutely correct.
Right. So
Scully,
then,
they kicked Scully off.
yes, they made...
He had too many products, 25 or 8, and jobs that you need 4.
Wasn't he selling Pepsi?
he had sold
something like that.
Sold
yeah.
Pepsi. There's the connection to your story in that garage.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
It's all interrelated.
See how it all happens?
It's all incestuous.
Incestuous is right.
There you go.
So
The pod.
So they made the iPod, and then radio was still king. So they said, well, why don't we have radio on our iPod? And they called it the podcast. So here's the funny thing. Today, people are going on Anchor, listen to me, and Spotify and all this kind of stuff. Spotify's paid $1 billion to try and monetize it and bring the podcasters over to it. Still, Apple rules because the iPhone is in more people's hands, you understand, than anything else. And they have built in the podcast. You understand? So you always want, this is why I argue with people putting their podcasts on YouTube and here and there and all this other stuff. I say, get it on the Apple podcast, which everyone has on their iPhone. There's only about 6 billion of them, 5 billion of them in the world, right? And focus on driving subscribers to the Apple version because
we're
that's
here
the most
in downtown
prevalent
Scottsdale
version.
at Pod Populi.
Yes.
And Brian Howley is here today, who started this company. I wonder if he knows that.
I don't know. We'll have to bring him on the show and quiz him.
And you should be on his show. This is amazing.
So Darrell, how do people get a hold of you? Because we're 16 minutes into our podcast. We probably lost half the audience already. They listened for 5. We got to do better about this, by the way. The first 5 minutes,
well, if you
we're saying, hey,
talk.
everybody, Darrell, you just sang your song. Gosh, to get a hold of you, they do what?
Well, first off, you can just go on LinkedIn or any of these platforms and look for DarrellStern, which is me.
Yep.
Or you can go to stern.marketing, and there's a button there called audition, so you can audition to work with me. So today I run the world's fastest moving video content marketing agency. What I realized is that the kids, teenagers, 20 years old, 30 years old, blowing up these channels, $2.5 million business in 3 years, while the rest of us are sitting here going, I put my video on YouTube. Isn't that good enough? Right? And I said, no. So what I'm doing is I'm bridging the gap between what those kids are doing and allowing us, the rest of us, to do that. So when a movie star...
Us old guys.
So listen, when a movie star goes to film a movie, they go to the trailer, they film it, in a month or two, and then they go do the post-production. The actress goes home or the actor goes home. So I said, well, why can't I pull out all the ideas out of you? Because your best marketing is already in you. It's everything that you already know. Right, so I'm going to break that down into all the stories, which I pull out of you through Sternstorming. Come sit with you, and I think, Jacoby, we've done, 100 and something videos already.
A lot.
And then it's kind of like the music distribution business is what I'm doing, because I'm taking those videos, we're editing them, we're optimizing them, and then we're distributing them on this thing called LinkedIn, this thing called Instagram, this thing called, YouTube. And we're coming out with a video every single day, 6 days a week on those 3 different platforms. On top of that, I bring in my friend Damon DeMarco, who wrote the autobiography of 9/11. He gets paid $90,000 to ghostwrite a book. He writes literature. So in conclusion, I'm taking Shakespeare and Spielberg, and I'm making that your marketing. Because marketing is starting meaningful conversations, and it's also show business, which is what I started doing when I was 3 years old.
There's no business like show business.
Exactly. So influence, there's a better big word, influence. Right? I want to be an influencer.
Rick is that.
Influencer.
He's the epitome of influence and show biz.
He
Look at this guy.
has all the knowledge in him. As we're piling up all this content, he's becoming known for what he does, which makes him an influencer. So to be an influencer, you're just demonstrating your expertise.
Right.
So how do you do that? You tell story after story after story after story. Now, why am I going backwards through your life to tell early life stories?
You're probably wondering, where did I come from?
Well, that too, especially when you get into the alien stuff and all that. But anyway.
He's from the Ben Franklin offspring.
Exactly.
Well, there's a lineage in there.
It adds depth to your character. The ultimate thing that you want your audience to do is trust you.
Yep.
If you know Zig Ziglar, right?
Know,
like and trust.
Like
and trust, right?
Zig Ziglar. There's
when
another one. He's from, he lives here.
So believe it or not, putting out all this media in this intimate way that I film it, where you're looking into the camera like you're talking to me right now, and we're making this eye contact and all that. The illusion is the person feels that they're actually getting to know you as a friend, right? And they're building a relationship with you, even though you don't know who these people are that are watching these videos. But the illusion then comes to fruition when then you say, hey, I've got a new book or I've got a new course out. And they all jump at it because they know you and they feel that they have this friendship with you.
You know, it was amazing. To that point, my granddaughter just sent me a note of thank you and acknowledgement of the LinkedIn. She saw me on LinkedIn, and she really never heard my message before.
Yeah, so if you want to impress your grandkids, go on, start producing social media because that's where they get all their information.
We'll do a short one here. Ready?
Short people got no manners. Okay, that was the Muppets back in the day.
Hi, Kylie. She's in University of Colorado. She's optical engineer, very smart girl, and a great golfer.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, she's got it all.
Well, she's got your genetics, of course.
Not the golf part. No, she's got the golf part.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We want to do a shout out to you. So
hello. Hi, Kylie. If you'd like to become an influencer, we can talk, and I'm sure you already have influence in you. Go, Dan.
There you go. Nice to meet you. Your dad, your grandfather.
Yeah, Grandpa Rick.
Grandpa is phenomenal. Rick. My best friend, taught me a lot, and you're lucky to have him. So awesome. Bye.
Yeah, so this is amazing. But the epiphany for me is the word pod coming from Apple, the iPod.
Yes. Yeah, 40,000 songs in your pocket. You remember the ad?
Well, it was so short-lived, really, when you think about it.
Well, no.
Scheme of things.
It's not short-lived. It's your
lives,
iPhone.
But it lives now.
The music app, they just put the music app into the phone, and then when they realized they could make a phone, then holy crap, everybody needs a phone. So they just put it into a phone.
And now here we are with Pod Populi.
Yeah.
Because this conversation we're having with you, Dan, and thousands of people, it's bringing America together.
It is.
It's a conversation. Yes. We're not just being talked down to.
Yes.
We're talking with the people.
So sugar, I sat with a TV tray watching Mickey Mouse Club on a black and white TV with a bowl of Fruit Loops. I had cavities by the time I was 5 years old. Right. I mean, I was given sugar. That was the 70s. You gave your kids sugar.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we all just grew up with
high
sugar.
fructose corn syrup.
And high fructose. My grandmother used to give me a big spoon of honey. That was her cure to everything.
Oh, you know what the big thing is now?
A big spoon of honey.
Nutella.
Of course.
Nutella.
So let's kind of end this with the Nutella story.
That's sugar wrapped in a nice creamy, buttery spread.
Hazelnut.
It did that, yes.
So I'm going to ask the audience, if you had Nutella, where were you when you had that first bite? And I remember I was in Vienna, Austria, and I was at this bed and breakfast place, and they had this big buffet and breakfast, and I said, what's this? It's a chocolate kind of thing. Wow, let's taste this. I put it on some bread. This is 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, my God. And I couldn't wait to get up, so I kind of sneaked down and be the first one in line to get the Nutella. Now I've asked that question multiple times. When did you first taste Nutella? The most addicting sugar high of all time.
Yeah. I had it with crepes in Denver. But the funny thing is...
Crepes?
Crepes.
Crepes.
Not crepes.
It was mixed in and rolled up.
Oh, my God.
Well, definitely. But here's
with whipped cream on top, a little cinnamon.
But the funny thing of it is it looks like, and it's marketed as if it's healthier than something, than whatever I would have. Than something else.
Amazing marketing.
It's fructose mixed with
So you're here to tell his story, get the word out, promote the book Unglued and your other book, Sugar Crush, which is a fantastic 1,000 reviews on Amazon.
Yeah.
And your book Unglued will be dropped, hopefully. Did you have the artwork still yet?
Well, Dan, you're going to like this. So we were talking about the cover today. I was outside at the Scott Resort and and we had this rainstorm just came down on me. It was unbelievable. Had to get it on your cover. So we're talking about Lucy, our first primate. So I'm explaining that sort of thing. What would she eat today? And one of the producers says, let's have Lucy with an apple in her mouth, like the first original sin kind of thing.
Which was sugar.
which was sugar.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow. And here we are, addicted.
Yeah.
Darrell, we got to get you back on.
Yeah, we can do one segment on YouTube. We can do one on LinkedIn. We can do one on LinkedIn.
Do one little ditty.
One little ditty?
Yeah.
To close out your show.
Well, sure. Morning glow all day long while we sing tomorrow's song. Never knew we could be so strong, but now it's very clear. Morning glow is here at last. I don't tell people I'm a classically trained opera singer.
Nice. Jeez Louise, dude.
And with
That was from Pippin. I sang that to my mom when she passed away. That was her favorite song from that show. Like she was always, she always wanted me to sing to her.
And I played "I'll Never Stop Loving You Again" on the piano before my mom died.
Most of us had though, but anyway.
That was beautiful.
Wow. Thank you, Darrell.
You're welcome.
Darrell.
Wow.
And you do that for free for your new clients.
So here's the thing. I will explain. I had a vocal coach when I was 4, 5, 6 years old. Lay me on my back, stack encyclopedias when we had those big, thick encyclopedias on my stomach, and I would push and do workout of this muscle underneath your lungs, which is called your diaphragm. So you want to be a public speaker, you want to be a business leader, you want to be a podcaster, learn to be a singer. Now I'll teach everybody on the show how to be a singer. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Yawn. Okay, yawn, right? Now when you yawn, you're opening up all the cavities in the back of your head and all that. Now you're going to yawn, but hold it. Sort of. We got to work on that.
There
you go.
Boom. Got it.
That's it.
Mic drop.
Mic drop.